Hello, everybody. My name is Eric D. Johnson, also known by BrightShine, right here in the city of Memphis, in the county, State, State, Tennessee. Today's date is Sunday morning, May the 19th, 2024. The time is 11:14 a.m. First thing, thank you, my family, my support for you. Continue to support. Continue to keep myself employed in the Memphis Tri-State area. Continue to further my education. Marvel college online. Continue to pursue my social media study, being administrative, contract, market, print time. Took a break. I'm going to school in the very near future. I will be back. I will be going back to Marvel college online and continue to pursue my social media study, being administrative, contract, market. Because like that old saying, historical United Negro College Fund commercial said, hey, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And I started going to college, and I intend, I got to pay my student loan, but I intend to earn my degree. So, hello, everybody. My name is Eric D. Johnson, also known by BrightShine, right here in the city of Memphis, in the county, State, Tennessee. Today's date is Sunday morning, May the 19th, 2024. The time, 11:15 a.m. First thing, thank you, my family, my support for you. Continue to continue to keep myself employed. The Memphis Tri-State area, continue to further my education, Marvel college online. Continue to pursue my social media study, being administrative, contract, market. Present time, I took a break from going to school. In the future, the near future, I'm gonna go back to Marvel College online. I'm gonna go back to college and continue to pursue my social degree and earn my social degree, as well as continue to further my education and earn my social degree and I gotta pay these student loans back, But I'm still earning my social degree in business administration, contract market. Now I know it's 11 o'clock in the morning, and it wasn't my intent to start my video at 11 o'clock. It was my intent to start but had to give myself a chance to be ready to do my video. Wasn't quite ready, but still making my video this morning, and every opportunity. That my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Son of God, affords me the opportunity to continue to make my video. I'm gonna make my video. I mean, technology's out here. Just like nowadays, you got the artificial intelligence. I mean, but progress is being made, advancements being made in technology. So I'm gonna continue, make my video. And so today we're gonna continue our talking about all this stuff about this Gnostic stuff and the origins of Gnosticism had already been brought to our attention. And so let me click over here right quick in this tab right quick. Ain't gonna take but a second. Now, like I said, ain't gonna take but just want to make sure that, because that's really what we want to get to the root of this Gnostic stuff. So go to Gnosticism online. The origins of Gnosticism. The origins of Gnosticism are obscure and still disputed. The proto-Orthodox Christian groups called Gnostics a heresy of Christianity. But according to the modern scholars, the theology's origin is closely related to Jewish sectarian milieux environment and early Christian sects. Some scholars debate Gnosticism origins having roots in Buddhism due to similarities in belief, but ultimately its origins are unknown. Now, let me read this. The Jewish Christians' origins. Contemporary scholarship largely agrees that Gnosticism has Jewish Christian origins, originating in the late 1st century AD in non-rabbinical Jewish sects and early Christian sects. Ether S. Drower adds, heterodox Judaism in Galilee and Samaria appears to have taken shape in the form we now call Gnostic. Read that again. Ether S. Drower adds, heterodox Judaism in Galilee and Samaria appears to have taken shape in the form we now call Gnostic, and it may well have existed sometime before the Christian era. Pay attention. Many heads of Gnostic schools were identified as Jewish Christians by church fathers, and Hebrew words and names of God were applied in some Gnostic systems. Read it again. Many heads of Gnostic schools were identified as Jewish Christians by church fathers, and Hebrew words and names of God were applied in some Gnostic systems. All right. So that's what we want to do. We want to identify who the Gnostics were and who the Gnostics are. Were and are. Who were and are the Gnostics? Identify them. They were Jewish Christians. And who said that? The church fathers. The church father, meaning the Catholic Church. All right. The names of God. The Old Testament and New Testament names of God the same. Now we can go to BibleStudyTool.com. Let me click right here. Bible versions. Now, when we talk about these versions of the Holy Bible, Bible Study Tool, we had a scroll, Well, all right, they got the Bible version and translation, best known translations. Keep scrolling. Then go down where it says other translations, modern. The complete Jewish Bible, for example. And they got the Hebrew names version. All right, where it says other translating, modern, like I said, what is it? The complete Jewish Bible and the Jubilee Bible. Let me see, what's it? All right, this Bible here has been translated from the original text in Hebrew and Greek into Spanish by Casador, 1569, and compared with the revision of Cipriano de Valeria, 1602. Yeah, that what the Jubilee Bible is. It's a translation from the original text in Hebrew and Greek. All right, and so then the Hebrew Names Bible, Jubilee Bible, and let me see. Then you got the Orthodox Jewish Bible. All right. And now you know you got older translations like the American Standard Version, the Darby translation, the Dewey Reams Catholic Bible, the Tyndale Bible, the Latin Vulgate Bible. Let me click this Dewey Reams Catholic Bible. And see, the thing about this Bible is this. The Dewey Reams is the translation upon which nearly all English Catholic Bible versions are based. It includes the 7 Deuterocanonical books, also known as the Apocrypha. And said the Dewey Reams Bible is a translation of the Bible from the Latin Vulgate into English. It was the first officially authorized Catholic Bible translation in English and has formed the basis of some later Roman Catholic Bibles in England. It includes the 7 Deuterocanonical books, also known as the Apocrypha. So that's one of the Bibles, which is important, the Deuterocanonical books. And then you got the Latin Vulgate Bible. The Latin Vulgate is an early 5th century version of the Bible in Latin, which is largely a result of the labors of Jerome, who was commissioned by Pope Damascus I in 382 to revise the older Latin translation. The Latin Vulgate's Old Testament is the first Latin version translated directly from the Hebrew Tanakh rather than from the Greek Septuagint. It became the definitive and officially promulgated Latin version of the Bible of the Roman Catholic Church. And when you look at these Bibles, whether it be the new Bibles or the older version or whatever, you notice that the Old Testament has 39 books and the New Testament 27 books. And so, like I said, there's Bible study tool. Now I'm gonna click Bible Gateway. See, all we want to do is look at these available versions. We know that they're available versions of the Bible in various languages. Now, Bible Gateway is a little more, but the translation, I mean, you know, all these Bibles, you can go to BibleStudyTool.com, BibleGateway.com. Now, Bible Gateway, they had from A to Z. Let me scroll, just let me make a quick stroll all the way down. What's the Chinese Bible? And when you see all these Chinese Bibles, let me see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 Chinese Bibles. 13. All the way to the letter U. V. Let me see. T. The Ukrainian Bible, the Urdu Bible, the Vietnamese Bible, the Yoruba Bible, and like I said, Chinese. So all these versions from A to Z. People all over the world are able to read the Bible, Old and New Testament. And then in English, it's a lot. But like I said, those Bibles that we just got you talking about, they over here. Let's see, the Complete Jewish Bible is over here. Because you know, you got all these different groups. But a lot of those Bibles, the Orthodox Jewish Bible is over here. So, I mean, you know, that's the point we'll make. All these available versions of the Holy Bible. In the Old Testament, 39 books. And in the New Testament, 27 books. And so, the names of God in the Old Testament. The names of God in the Old Testament. The same God, the Holy Bible. Irregardless of what version you read, we talking about the Old Testament and the New Testament. The names of God. The same God. One. The names of God in the Old Testament. Elohim. Jehovah Jireh. Yahweh Nissi. Jehovah Sabaoth. El Elyon. El Elam. Alpha and Omega. Jehovah Hosinu. Adonai. Yahweh. Jehovah Rapha. Yahweh. Siginu. Jehovah. God with us. El Gibor. Jehovah. Siri. Or Sirah. El Shaddai. Shalom. Yahweh. Shammah. El. The Lord who sanctifies. Jehovah. Mikot Dishakim. Eternal One. Those were some of the names of God in the Old Testament. Now, the names of God in the New Testament. Like I said, the names of God, the New Testament. Adonai, Yahweh Rapha, Jehovah Sabaoth, Alpha and Omega, El Roy, God, Christ, Jehovah, Elohim, Jehovah Jireh, the Lord our banner, Yahweh, Sekinu, Chief Shepherd, Yahweh Nissi, El Olam, Son of Man, El Shaddai, Yahweh, Yahweh Shammah, El Elyon, Father, Abba, Emmanuel, the Lord who sanctifies. The same God from the Old Testament, the same God, the New Testament. Now, what you see in front of you, anti-gang, anti-Gnostic, anti-Haze. Also, adversus, heresies, translated mean against heresies. Saint Irenaeus, the Bishop of Lyon, together with Saint Ignatius, the Bishop of Antioch, they wrote a 5-volume book refuting Gnosticism, proving that Gnosticism was a heresy. Also, Saint Athanasius, the Bishop of Alexandria, in his 39th Festal letter, Easter letter, banned all non-Christian writing. The Gnostic theologians was doing all this writing. Saint Athanasius, Bishop of Alexandria, together with all the other bishops in the Catholic Church, they went around and collected all their Gnostic theologian writing and destroyed it. A person or person took some copies of that Gnostic theologian writing, wrapped it in some papyrus paper, put it in a jar and buried it in Nag-Hammadi, Egypt. In 1945, the little farm boys outside playing and found that Gnostic theologian writing. And ever since then, the little farm boy gave what he found to his father, who was a farmer, and eventually the scholars at the colleges and universities around the world, the people in academia, they found out about it. And ever since then, and then the sororities and the fraternity, they found out about it. The sohos and the frat bitches, they found out about it. And ever since then, they have been misusing and using not only the Nag-Hammadi library, but there's some other discoveries. The Bruce Codex, the Askew Codex, the Berlin Codex. They just been using all this buried in Gnostic theologian writing to misuse and use, to be self-destructive and destructive, trying to destroy wildlife, nature, and the environment, trying to destroy the North and South Pole. Now they're going out in space doing the same thing. Also, Saint Epiphanius of Salome, the Bishop of Cyprus, wrote a 3-volume book titled Panarian Greek, Panarian Latin, translated mean breadbasket. The scholars at the colleges and universities all around the world have also said that St. Epiphanius of Salome, Bishop of Cyprus, 3-volume book is also adversus heresy against heresies. The Almighty, Conservative Vice Lord, Four Corner Hustle, the Almighty Black Princeton, the Almighty Mickey Cobra Kraken. And the Mickey Cobra is a stone. The Almighty Black Disciple Popping. The Almighty Bluefin Black Disciple. The Black Disciple. Lord Stone Disciple. Gangster Disciple Killer. GDK. Glaze Donut Killer. GDK. 7-11. G Killer. Goofy And see, this is the reason why it's so important. In the city of Chicago, conservative vice lord, the Lord stoned disciple. The Black Prince Stones, Mickey Cobra Stone, Black disciples. It's a lot of people who in the past, just like behind me, mama, dad, just like when I showed my family photos. See, it's important. It's important. See, we've been having all these colleges and universities all over the world. And here in the United States of America, we've been having colleges and universities right here in the United States of America. All these historically black colleges and universities. And being denied education. But it's important. See, when you try to lie about Gnosticism and try to victimize innocent men, women, and children by lying, see, it's important. See, this information ain't new information. It's old information. Click back over to Gnosticism. Scroll down. Then let me scroll all the way down to the bottom, because the library right here in the city of Memphis, in the county of Shelby, in the state of Tennessee. Scroll down to the bottom. The notes. Sub notes and references. You see all them citations down at the bottom. How many citations is it? 227. And other, what else? Works cited. Printed sources. Web sources. Then you got further reading. Journal. And what else? External links. Encyclopedias. What else? Got a library. Right here in the city of Memphis, in the Shelby County, in the county of Shelby, in the state of Tennessee. And the main library is on Poplar Avenue. Alright. So scroll back up. All them citations. We can go to the public library. Any information on Wikipedia, we can go to the public library on Poplar Avenue. In Chicago, Illinois, find the public library, the main library. Scroll back up to the origins of Gnosticism. See, it's important. Talking about this demiurge. And who was it? The origins of Gnosticism. The origins of Gnosticism are obscure and still disputed. The proto-Orthodox Christian groups called Gnostics a heresy of Christianity. But according to the modern scholars, the theology's origin is closely related to Jewish sectarian milieu environment and early Christian sects. Some scholars debate Gnosticism origin as having roots in Buddhism due to similarities in belief, but ultimately its origins are unknown. Now, Jewish Christian origins. Contemporary scholarship largely agrees that Gnosticism has Jewish Christian origins, originating in the late 1st century AD in non-rabbinical Jewish sects and early Christian sects. Read it again. Contemporary scholarship largely agrees that Gnosticism has Jewish Christian origins, originating in the late 1st century AD in what non-rabbinical Jewish sects and early Christian sects. Ethel as dry as heterodox Judaism in Galilee and Samaria appears to have taken shape in the form we now call Gnostics, and it may well have existed some time before the Christian era. Before the Christian era. Read on. Read. Many heads of Gnostic schools were identified as Jewish Christian by who? The church fathers. And Hebrew words and names of God were applied in some Gnostic system. Read it again. Many heads of Gnostic schools were identified as Jewish Christian by who? The church fathers. And Hebrew words and word names of God were applied in some Gnostic systems. So it's important to know the origins of Gnosticism, because it's a lie. You're going to sit here and tell me that the church fathers had already told you that the heads of these Gnostic schools were Jewish Christians. And who is the church fathers? The church fathers were those who had been taught by our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, chosen apostles. That's who the church fathers are. The Catholic Church. They already told you. Now modern scholars telling you what the church fathers already told you. Not nothing against the scholars, but the point is this. The church fathers had already told you. You didn't listen. Now the modern day scholars are telling you the same thing that the church fathers had already told you. Who the Gnostics were and who the Gnostics are. Jewish Christians. Now I know today they can just be some whoever, because everybody all around the world, people moving around, whatever. But their origins, the church fathers had told you. The church fathers told you that they were Jewish Christians. And so, like I said, in Chicago, see, that's the reason why you can't stand on a lie. And serve the white Lord ain't got to lose no sleep. I told you, you ain't got to lose no sleep about no Gnosticism. Because the church fathers already told you who it was, who the Gnostics were, and who the Gnostics are today. See, when you go to the origins, talking about some Jewish Christians, you ain't doing them a line. It already told you a bunch of heretics, a bunch of heathens. Church father already told you. And it's going to still be the same thing today. Because ain't no way in the world you're going to sit up and talk about no Jew going to be over in the synagogue, then going to leave the synagogue, and then going to talk about a Gnostic school. And talking about some Christians. You're going to be over here in the church, talking about you a Christian, then going to leave the church. Then going to talk about some, you over here in a Gnostic school. You just a heathen. Some pagans. And whatever, you know. Some heretics. Because you can't be faithful to Judaism. What you doing over here in the Gnostic school? See, that's what it means today, in modern time. How you going to be over in the synagogue? Do you think you're going to be walking around talking about you in the synagogue today? If the church fathers had identified people in the past, you think ain't nobody going to identify you today? Talking about some people in the Jewish synagogue? Talking about you a Nazi and then talking about the church? You think ain't nobody going to identify you? Talking about you a Gnostic? No, that ain't how it work, man. That ain't how, no. All that is a bunch of lies. See, conservative bylaw ain't got to worry about that. Talking about no demiurge. They ain't got to worry. You lying. See, that's the reason why you ain't got to lose no sleep. When you identify who and who they were and who they are, man, you ain't got, you lying. That's all you doing. You just lying. See, we finna get into this. We finna be thorough. We started last week. Get into the beliefs of Judaism, the origins of Judaism, and things of that nature. We're going to get into the God of Judaism today. Oh, yeah. Like I said, I wasn't trying to intend on my video, starting my video at 11 o'clock or whatever, But I have to make sure I'm ready. And if I'm not ready, I ain't ready. I don't start my video. If I'm not ready, I'm not ready. Because, when I sit in this chair, I want to make sure I sit in this chair and I focus and I'm concentrating and I'm focused, And so, like I said, when I make my video, I make my video when I'm ready. I don't make my video and I'm not ready. And then I gotta come back and forth. They ain't how. No. When I'm ready, I'm ready. If I'm not ready, I ain't. But like I said, we're gonna get to the God of Judaism. See, in your spare time, you watch my videos. In your spare, see, you ain't gotta wait on me. Once I tell you what we going on, you ain't gotta wait on me. You can go to the library yourself. Because the information, only thing about Wikipedia is the information come from the library. And to be honest with you, that's what the World Wide Web is. That's what the internet is. That's all Google is. Anytime you Google any information, your common sense will tell you all that stuff that come up on the screen, just like the names of God from the Old Testament. I can go to the library in the New Testament, names of God. The names of God from the New Testament. I can go to the library on Poplar Avenue, the main library. So don't try nothing like that, man. Don't you even think. Don't you never try nothing like that with me. Like you gonna try to make it sound like the internet not dependable. Like you got something to say, man, you better not open your mouth about Wikipedia. You better not open your mouth. Period. Because Wikipedia is dependable. It's credible. It's reliable. And in all the other sources. Anytime I look at something up on Google, there be encyclopedias coming up, dictionaries coming up, all this other stuff that come up that I didn't click. Cause see, I didn't click the encyclopedia. Instead of Wikipedia, I can just click Encyclopedia Britannica. It's gonna tell you the same thing. Then what you gonna say? What you gonna say then? See, anytime I look up Gnosticism, let me click back over. Let me click this thing here. Let me just click right here. And go right back to the same, what is that? World History Encyclopedia. Gnosticism. Wikipedia. Britannica. Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy. Gnosis.org. Merriam-Webster. Legionnaire Ministries. And on and on and on. Gnosticism. Christianity and Sophia. Kenyon College. See, you better not open your mouth. You better not open your mouth. Then we got books. Amazon.com. A History of Gnosticism. Filoramo Giovanni. That's a book, man. You see what I'm saying? PBS. Gnostics and Other Heretics. From Jesus to Christ. Keep scrolling. Then you got YouTube videos. You better not open your mouth. Theopedia, Gnosticism, Columbia University Press, the Gnostic New Age, Study.com, Gnosticism, Origin, Beliefs, and Conflicts, on and on and on. Jewish Encyclopedia, Gnosticism, the JewishEncyclopedia.com. So, don't open your mouth. Don't open your mouth, because you're messing around and get yourself in some serious trouble. You're already in trouble. Trying to lie. Try to use Gnosticism. That's what the gangster disciples did. Try to use Gnosticism. That was the black gangster new breed. That was, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I already know. Don't even go there. I know about black gangsters and the so-called new breed. I already know. I already know about this stupid spoony black and Cochise and the rest. I already know about the black gang. I already know about the vice lord. I already know. And then later on the new breed. I already know. You know. And now today you got this everybody killer. See this reason why conservatives see Lord Stone disciple. See, you can't lie. This reason why when I make my video, I keep telling the conservative, you ain't got to worry about it. I just read it. See, the origins of Gnosticism. The church fathers had already told you who they were. And then today, who they were and who they are. You're a heretic. See, that's a start. When you say the Jewish Christians, you're a heretic. And you just a heathen. Ain't nowhere in the world you're going to be sitting up in no church. Talking about no Catholic church. You ain't finna be sitting up in no Catholic church and you ain't going to leave the Catholic church and then talking about you a Gnostic. Now, unless you ignorant. Now, let me put this in. Unless you ignorant of the information. And you going to Catholic church service and you really ignorant of the information. Now, that's what ignorant means. That you uninformed, maybe uneducated. You really didn't really know, you know what I'm saying? Just like me sitting here reading Wikipedia and talking about the origin. I'm going to be honest, when I was a kid, I ain't know nothing about no Gnosticism. Honestly. So when I was a child, I was ignorant of that. Because I wasn't familiar with it. Nobody said nothing to me about no Gnosticism. I went to the Church of Christ on Sunday morning, my mom and dad. I ain't know nothing about no Gnosticism. I really didn't. Nobody said nothing to me. I ain't found out about it until I became an adult. When I came an adult, I kind of realized, people be lying or something. Nobody know, but like, what the heck going on? But I kind of figured out what it was. Somebody lying about something. Then I did my own research, trying to find out what it was you lying about. Then I educated myself and informed myself. See? And it's just like I said in the past, I ain't no Church of Christ. Because see, I know you can't be right. See, you can't stand on the lie. You can't stand on the lie. You can try to use violence like you've been doing, trying to use violence, trying to be a gangster. You can't stand on the lie. They ain't gonna never make you right. See, you can hide behind my back, but you can't hide from God. Hi. Say it again. See, you can go behind my back and hide. But see, when we talk about the beliefs in Judaism and the beliefs in the Catholicism, Catholic / Christian, when we were talking about the beliefs of Judaism, the Jews do believe that God is omniscient, omnipresent, you know what I'm saying, all knowing, everything, all that. The same thing you say in the New Testament, that what the Jews believe the same thing about God being one, God being omniscient, all knowing, God being all present, and God being all powerful. See? You can hide from everything, but you can't hide from God. Boy, woo, boy, woo, boy, woo. Good thing the air conditioner on. Boy, woo, boy, you can't, boy, boy. And so, like I said, hey, we're going to get onto this, the God of Judaism. What time is it? Oh, yeah. And see, no matter what, man. See, this way, conservative white law, hey, that's the reason why, you know what I'm saying, you ain't got to worry about, gangster society. You ain't got to worry about, the so-called black gangster new breed. You ain't got to worry about no everybody killer. Because time, man. See, it's all time. See, Lord Stone disciple. It's still Lord Stone disciple. You can't lie. See, when it comes to being Lord, it's going to mean the same thing. You can't stand on the lie. And being Stone, it's going to be the same thing. And being black disciple, it's going to be the same thing. Because, man, they did the right thing. Hey, all that black gangster disciple stuff, you don't see that no more. And, hey, the Mickey Coblestone ain't got to worry about nobody. Because conservative white lord right there. And then, like I said, to aid and assist, whatever you thought you were getting away with that Nazi mess, man, you ain't getting away with it. See, the church father already told you. And then the modern day scholars, they doing investigation, research, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, colleges and universities all over the world. Theology and religious studies department, as well as behavior science department, because archaeology, anthropology, a lot of those departments, they are behavior science departments, as well as other departments. The modern day scholars, they investigating and doing research, and they not telling you nothing different than what the church fathers told you. That's who they were, the Jews and the Christians. So all you're doing is lying. You're gonna try to take Plato's book and talk about some demiurge. You're lying. Then one of the students of Plato, Plotinus, with his book, the Ennead or Enneads, you're gonna try to take Plato's book, the Timaeus or Timaeus, the information is gonna distort, talking about the demiurge. Well, I went over that last year as well as this year. Plotinus wrote his book against the Nazis as well as, you know the title. Plotinus wrote his book against the Gnostics and those who affirm that, you know, they're in need or in the edge. I gotta get over here and start on this. And you know, like I said, hey, conservative bylaws sitting there in Chicago, hey, Conservative Bylaw Incorporated being revitalized. Bootstrap Incorporated being revitalized. It's coming back. That's all there is to it. Come back. You know, can't stand on no lie. Can't stand on no lie. That's all there is to it. All right, we finna go to this. The God of Judaism. And so, all right, let me scroll all the way down to where it says, like I said, we're on Wikipedia. We're on Wikipedia. Now let me click. Oh, let me click again. Don't try me, man. Encyclopedia Britannica, Judaism, definition, origin, history, belief. Korah. What is the name of the God of the Jews? BBC, religions, Judaism, Jewish beliefs. My Jewish learning about God and Judaism. History.com, Judaism, founder beliefs and facts. My Jewish learning, the names of God. The New World Encyclopedia, names of God and Judaism. And so on and so forth. Jewish virtual library, Jewish concepts, the name of God. And so on and so forth. All right, click back over to Wikipedia. Scroll down, scroll. All right. See also references. Bibliography. Further reading. Public library on Poplar Avenue. All right, God in Judaism. In Judaism, God has been conceived in a variety of ways. Traditionally, Judaism holds that Yahweh, that is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob / Israel, and the national God of the Israelites, delivered them from slavery in Egypt and gave them the law of Moses at Mount Sinai as described in the Torah. Jews traditionally believe in a monotheistic conception of God. God is one, characterized by both transcendence, independence from, and separated from the material universe, and immanence, active involvement in the material universe. God is conceived as unique and perfect, free from all faults, deficiencies, and defects, and further held to be omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient, and completely infinite in all his attributes, who has no partner or equal, being the sole creator of everything in existence. In Judaism, God is never portrayed in any image, The Torah specifically forbade ascribing partners to share his singular sovereignty, as he is considered to be the absolute one, without a second, indivisible, and incomparable being who is similar to nothing and nothing is comparable to him. Thus, God is unlike anything in or of the world as to be beyond all forms of human thought and expression. The names of God used most often in the Hebrew Bible are the Tetragrammaton, Hebrew, Romanized, and Elohim. Other names of God in traditional Judaism include Adonai, El Elyon, El Shaddai, and Shekinah. According to the rationalistic Jewish theology articulated by the medieval Jewish philosopher and jurist Moses Maimonides, which later came to dominate much of official and traditional Jewish thought. God is understood as the absolute one, indivisible, and incomparable being who is the creator, deity, the cause and preserver of all existence. Maimonides affirmed Avicenna's conception of God as the supreme being, both omnipresent and incorporeal, necessarily existing for the creation of the universe, while rejecting Aristotle's conception of God as the unmoved mover, along with several of the latter's views, such as denial of God as creator and affirmation of the eternity of the world. Traditional interpretation of Judaism generally emphasize that God is personal, yet also transcendent and able to intervene in the world, while some modern interpretations of Judaism emphasize that God is an impersonal force or ideal rather than a supernatural being concerned with the universe. Names. The name of God used most often in the Hebrew Bible is the Tetragrammaton, Hebrew, Romanized Yahweh. Jews traditionally do not pronounce it and instead refer to God as Hashem, literally the name. In prayer, the Tetragrammaton is substituted with the pronunciation Adonai, meaning my Lord. This is referred to primarily in the Torah. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God. The Lord is one. Deuteronomy 6:4. Current scholarly consensus generally reconstructs the name's original pronunciation as Yahweh. In the traditional interpretations of Judaism, God is always referred to with masculine grammatical articles only. Godhead. In Judaism, Godhead refers to the aspect or substratum of God that lies behind God's actions or properties. It is the essence of God. Rationalistic conception. In the philosophy of Maimonides and other Jewish rationalistic philosophers, there is little which can be known about the Godhead other than its existence. And even this can only be asserted equivocally. How then can a relation be represented between God and what is other than God when there is no notion comprising in any respect both of the two? Inasmuch as existence is, in our opinion, affirmed of God, may God be exalted, and of what is other than God merely by way of absolute equivocation. There is, in truth, no relation in any respect between God and any of God's creatures. Maimonides, More Nivicum. What's that? 1963. Pine, 1963. Kabbalistic conception. In Kabbalistic thought, the term Godhead usually refers to the concept of in soul, which is the aspect of God that lies beyond the emanations. Sephiroth. They are considered to be a dynamic and organic unity whose nature depends on humanity. The knowability of the Godhead in Kabbalistic thought is no better than what is conceived by rationalist thinkers. As Jacobs, 1973, puts it, of God as God is in God's self, and so nothing can be said at all and no thought can reach there. Insof is a place to which forgetting and oblivion pertain. Why? Because concerning all the Sirach, one can search out their reality from the depth of supernal wisdom. From there it is possible to understand one thing from another. However, concerning Insof, there is no aspect anywhere to search or probe. Nothing can be known of it, for it is hidden and concealed in the mystery of absolute nothingness. David ben Judah. He said, 1990. Properties which are attributed to God. In modern articulations of traditional Judaism, God has been speculated to be the eternal, omnipotent, and omniscient creator of the universe, as well as the source for one's standards of morality, guiding humanity through ethical principles. Creative Maimonides describes God in this fashion. The foundation of all foundations and the pillar of wisdom is to know that there is a primary being who brought into being all existence. All the beings of the heavens, the earth, and what is between them came into existence only from the truth of his being. Omniscient. Jews often describe God as omniscient, although some prominent medieval Jewish philosophers held that God does not have complete foreknowledge of human acts. Gersonides, for example, argued that God knows the choices open to each individual, but that God does not know the choices that an individual will make. Abraham ibn Dode believed that God was not omniscient or omnipotent with respect to human action. Omnipotent. Jews often describe God as omnipotent and see that idea as rooted in the Hebrew Bible. Some modern Jewish theologians have argued that God is not omnipotent, however, and have found many biblical and classical sources to support this view. The traditional view is that God has the power to intervene in the world. Omnipresent. That the Lord, He is God in heaven above and upon the earth beneath. Deuteronomy 4:39. Maimonides infers from this verse that the Holy One is omnipresent and therefore incorporeal. For a corporeal being is incapable of being in two places simultaneously. Incorporeal and non-gendered. To whom will ye liken me, that I should be equal? Isaiah 40:25. Maimonides infers from this verse that had he been corporeal, he would be like other bodies. Although God is referred to in the Tanakh with masculine imagery in grammatical forms, traditional Jewish philosophy does not attribute gender to God. Although Jewish Agadic literature and Jewish mysticism do on occasion refer to God using gender language for poetic or other reasons, this language was never understood by Jews to imply that God is gender specific. Some modern Jewish thinkers take care to articulate God outside of the gender binary, a concept seen as not applicable to God. Kabbalistic tradition holds that emanations from the divine consist of 10 aspects called Sephirot. Unimaginable. The Torah ascribes some human features to God. However, other Jewish religions works describe God as formless and otherworldly. Judaism is anachronic. Now that means is the cultural absence of artistic representation, icons, of the natural and supernatural world, or it is the absence of representation of certain figures in religion. The prohibition of material representation may only extend to a specific supreme deity, or it can encompass an entire pantheon. Okay. Meaning it lacks material, physical representations of both the natural and supernatural works. Furthermore, the worship of idols is strictly forbidden. The traditional view, elaborated by figures such as Maimonides, reckons that God is wholly incomprehensible and therefore impossible to envision, resulting in an historical tradition of divine incorporeality. As such, attempting to describe God's appearance in practical terms is considered disrespectful and possibly heretical. Morally good. Conceptions of God, personal. Most of classical Judaism views God as a personal God, meaning that humans can have a relationship with God and vice versa. Rabbi Samuel S. Cohen wrote that God, as conceived by Judaism, is not only the first cause, the creative power and the world reason, but also the living and loving Father of men. He is not only cosmic but also personal. Jewish monotheism thinks of God in terms of definite character or personality, while pantheism is content with a view of God as impersonal. This is shown in the Jewish liturgy, such as in the Adon Olam hymn, which includes a confident affirmation that He is my God, my living God, who hears and answers. Evel Kessler writes that Hebrew Bible portrays an encounter with a God who cares passionately and who addresses humanity in the quiet moments of its existence. British Chief Rabbi Jonathan Sacks suggests that God is not distant in time or detached, but passionately engaged and present. The predicate personal as applied to God does not necessarily mean that God is corporeal or anthropomorphic. Views that Jewish sages sometimes rejected, rather personality refers not to physicality but to inner essence, physical, rational, and moral. However, other traditional Jewish texts, for example, the Shi'er Komeh of the Hishalat literature, describes the measurements of limbs and body parts of God. The Jews believe that God can be experienced, but also that God cannot be understood, because God is utterly unlike humankind, as shown in God's response to Moses when Moses asked for God's name. I am that I am. Anthropomorphic statements about God are understood as linguistic metaphors. Otherwise, it would be impossible to talk about God at all. According to some speculation in traditional Judaism, people's actions do not have the ability to affect God positively or negatively. The book of Job in the Hebrew Bible states, gaze at the heavens and see, and view the skies, which are higher than you. If you sinned, how do you harm God? And if your transgressions are many, what do you do to God? If you are righteous, what do you give God? Or what does God take from your hand? Your wickedness affects a person like yourself, and your righteousness a child of humanity. However, a corpus of traditional Kabbalistic texts describe theurgic practices that manipulate the supernal realms, and practical Kabbalah, Hebrew, texts instruct adepts in the use of white magic. A notion that God is in need of human beings has been propounded by Abraham, Joshua, Heschel, because God is in search of people. God is accessible and available through time and place to whoever seeks God, leading to a spiritual intensity for the individual as well. This accessibility leads to a God who is present, involved, near, intimate, and concerned for and vulnerable to what happens in this world. Non-personal. Modern Jewish thinkers claim that there is an alternate stream of tradition exemplified by Maimonides, who, along with several other Jewish philosophers, rejected the idea of a personal God According to the Pew Forum on Religion and Public Life 2008 U.S. Religious Landscape Survey, Americans who identify as Jewish by religion are twice as likely to favor ideas of God as an impersonal force over the idea that God is a person with whom people can have a relationship. Modern Jewish thinkers who have rejected the idea of a personal God have sometimes affirmed that God is nature, the ethical ideal, or a force or process in the world. Baruch Spinoza offers a pantheist view of God. In his thought, God is everything, and everything is God. Thus, there can be conceived no substance but God. In this model, one can speak of God and nature interchangeably, although Spinoza was excommunicated from the Jewish community of Amsterdam. Spinoza's concept of God was revived by later Jews, especially Israeli secular Zionists. Herman Cohen rejected Spinoza's idea that God can be found in nature, but agreed that God was not a personal being. Rather, he saw God as an ideal, an archetype of morality. Not only can God not be identified with nature, but God is also incomparable to anything in the world. This is because God is one, unique, and unlike anything else. One loves and worships God through living ethically and obeying his moral law. Love of God is love of morality. Similarly to Emmanuel Levinas, God is ethics. So one is brought closer to God when justice is rendered to the other. This means that one experiences the presence of God through one's relation to other people. To know God is to know what must be done. So it does not make sense to speak of God as what God is, but rather what God commands. For Mordecai Kaplan, the founder of Reconstructionist Judaism, God is not a person, but rather a force within the universe that is experienced in fact. Anytime something worthwhile is experienced, that is God. God is the sum of all natural processes that allow people to be self-fulfilling, the power that makes for salvation. Thus, Kaplan's God is abstract, not carnate, and intangible. In this model, God exists within this universe. For Kaplan, there is nothing supernatural or otherworldly. One loves this God by seeking out truth and goodness. Kaplan does not view God as a person, but acknowledges that using personal God language can help people feel connected to their heritage and can act as an affirmation that life has value. Likewise, Rabbi Zalman Schachter Shalomi, the founder of the Jewish Renewal Movement, views God as a process to aid in this transition in language. He uses the term guiding, which encapsulates God as a process, as the process that the universe is doing, has been doing, and will continue to do. This term means that God is emerging, growing, adapting, and evolving with creation. Despite this, conventional God language is still useful in nurturing spiritual experiences and can be a tool to relate to the infinite, although it should not be confused with the real thing. So, we just got to read the God in Judaism. Now, it was good to read this because it talks about what do Jews believe. And that's the key. That's the key. What do the Jews believe? You see, we have one statement here that says that Jews traditionally believe in a monotheistic conception of God. God is one, characterized by both transcendence, independence from, and separating from the material universe, and immanence, active involvement in the material universe. And then another, this is very important, that in Judaism, the whole, now when you say a Jew, what do Jews believe? But when you say Judaism, in Judaism, God is never portrayed in any image. The Torah specifically forbade ascribing partners to share his singular sovereignty, as he is considered to be the absolute one, without a second, indivisible, and incomparable being, who is similar to nothing and nothing is comparable to him. Thus, God is unlike anything in or of the world as to be beyond all forms of human thought and expression. The names of God used most often in the Hebrew Bible are the Tetragrammaton in Hebrew and Romanized. This that YHWH capitalized. This was the Tetragrammaton. And Elohim. Other names of God in traditional Judaism include Adonai, El, Elyon, El, Shaddai, and Shekinah. And then it was now traditional interpretation of Judaism generally emphasize that God is personal, yet also transcendent and able to intervene in the world. While some modern interpretations of Judaism emphasize that God is an impersonal force or idea rather than a supernatural being concerned with the universe. Now I ain't gonna do that today, but on my next video, we're gonna get into the names of God in Judaism. But right here is talking about the name. The name of God used most often in the Hebrew Bible is the Tetragrammaton. That capital YHWH. Jews' traditions do not pronounce it and instead refer to God as Hashem. Literally, the name. That's important. Read that again. Jews' tradition do not pronounce it and instead refer to God as Hashem. Literally, the name. In prayer, the Tetragrammaton is substituted with the pronunciation Adonai, meaning my Lord. This is referred to primarily in the Torah. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God. The Lord is one. Deuteronomy 6:4. Current scholarly consensus generally reconstructs the name's original pronunciation as Yahweh. In the traditional interpretation of Judaism, God is always referred to with masculine grammatical articles only. And of course, the Godhead. In Judaism, Godhead refers to the aspect of substratum of God that lies behind God's actions or properties. And going to the concepts of God and so on and so forth, and properties, so on. But it was important to go over this and gonna continue to go, because like I said, the church fathers the church fathers identified who the Gnostics were and who the Gnostics are. Who were the Gnostics? They were the Jews, non-rabbinical sects, Jewish sectarian milus, and Christian sects. Jewish Christians. And so when you get into the beliefs of the Jews, it's kind of inconsistent. It's inconsistent. How can a Jew be a Jew and then talking about the demiurge and talking about taking Plato's book, the Timaeus or Timaeus? But this is what the Jews believe, God and Judaism, that God is one. So you trying to take this demiurge and what they say about the material. See, this is the reason why this has to be done. What people believe about God. Well, if this is what a Jew believe about God, what is it that the church fathers are saying about these Jews and these Christians? Because that's the same thing. What do the Jews believe about the Messiah? Because see, when you're talking about the Messiah, then you're talking about what you believe about God. All right, let me refer back. Okay, see, this is important. Now, in the philosophy of Plato, they talking all this stuff about this material world. See, this is very important. See, I'm glad we got into this. This is very important. Talking about this demiurge. Now, in Plato's book, demiurge was saying that was a good God and desired the world of good, was a benevolent God, whatever. And when it comes to this material world, this is what the so-called Gnostics said. They took the demiurge from Plato's book, distorted it, and said that the demiurge was some kind of flawed individual and had that the material world was evil. Now this is what the Jews believe about God. See, this is very important. See, this is really why it's important. What do the Jews believe about God and Judaism? See, in Judaism, God has been conceived in a variety of ways. Traditionally, Judaism holds that Yahweh, that is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, / Israel, and the national God of the Israelites, delivered them from slavery in Egypt and gave them the law of Moses in Mount Sinai, as described in the Torah. Now pay attention. Jews traditionally believe in a monotheistic conception of God, and what else? Characterized by both transcendence, independence from, and separation from the material universe, and immanence, active involvement in the material universe. So it's totally inconsistent. Whatever you're talking about, this Gnostic mess, with all that nonsense, that's not what Judaism was believed. That's not a belief in Judaism about this material world being evil and all that. That's totally inconsistent. And talking about this demiurge, that's not a name of God in Judaism. But the origins of Gnosticism, the church fathers told you it was the Jews and the Christians. That it was Jewish Christians. So that's totally inconsistent. It's no way they can be similar. No way. And then talking about a Christian. If it wasn't for Judaism, the beliefs of Judaism, you wouldn't be talking about the Messiah. So the same concept about Judaism is the same concept the Catholic Church and Christianity. Because you talking that it wouldn't be no Messiah, the historical Jesus, without the belief in Judaism. And this is another thing. You talking about this demiurge being flawed and in the material world's evil. Well, God, we still on God and Judaism. God is conceived as unique and perfect, free from all faults, deficiencies, and defects, and further held to be omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient, and completely infinite in all of his attributes, who has no partner or equal. Whatever you saying about that demiurge being a lesser, and then talking about in this Gnostic concept, talking about there's another entity above this demiurge, that's not Jewish thought. That's not just read it. God is conceived as unique and perfect, free from all faults, deficiencies, and defects, and further held to be omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient, and completely infinite in all of his attributes, who has no partner nor equal, being the sole creator of everything in existence. So there again, what you saying about Gnostic, talking about this demiurge, that's not Jewish belief. That's not Jewish belief. And most certainly that ain't what Jesus, because again, it would not be no Christianity without the beliefs in Judaism. Let me read this. We still on the names the God of Judaism. This is important. According to the rationalistic Jewish theology, articulated by the medieval Jewish philosopher Andrew Moses Maimonides, all right, which later came to dominate much of official and traditional Jewish thought. God is understood as the absolute one, indivisible, incomparable, and incomparable being, who is, pay attention. See, when you talk about Gnosticism and you talking about this demiurge being a flawed, and talking about he created and the world, the material world is evil and all that, but there was another where this demiurge came from, who was bigger than him. Pay attention. An incomparable being who is the creator deity, the cause and preserver of all existence. There again, what you trying to say about this Gnostic being and trying to, no, totally different, inconsistent. Maimonides affirmed Avicenna's concept of God as the supreme being, both omnipresent and incorporeal. Now that incorporeality, incorporeality, that is the state or quality of being incorporeal or bodiless. Immateriality, incorporealism. Incorporeal means not composed of matter, having no material existence. See, I told you. See, when you start running your mouth, a lot of people don't know what they're talking about. That's the key. If you don't know what the Jews themselves believe, you ain't gonna know what the Christians believe, because Christianity is rooted in Judaism or Catholicism. You know, it got its roots in Jewish belief. You can't mix that Gnostic nonsense in with the Jewish belief as well as with the Catholic Church's belief in Christianity. See, I'm trying not to say that Christian, because see, that's there again. When you talk about the beliefs of Judaism, that's where that Christian stuff. When you talk about that Christian stuff, see, the Catholic Church gonna tell you where did Catholic come from. It came from Saint Ignatius of Antioch. Who taught Saint Ignatius of Antioch? One of the 12 apostles of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the Son of God. That will give you credibility. That's where Saint Ignatius of Antioch got his credibility, because he was taught by one of the apostles, one of the 12 apostles that was chosen by our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Son of God. That's who Jesus Christ taught, his 12 apostles. And one of his 12 apostles that he taught himself, was one of the ones who taught Saint Ignatius, the Bishop of Antioch. And the Bishop of Antioch said in one of his epistles, Catholic Church. That's where he get his credibility from. That's the reason why today the Catholic Church says Catholic Church. Now that Christian stuff, you know and I know, we'll go to the book of Acts and nobody know where it came from. See, this is where the Jewish faith, this is where the belief in Judaism had to refer back. Even the Catholic Church, you know, if it's something, but they know what you mean. To be a Catholic, your doctrine got to be rooted in Jewish belief, because the Messiah, if Jesus himself never said Christian. See, this is the key, this is the point, a key point. When our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Son of God, don't say anything, or he do say something, he was a Jew himself. Born and raised in Jewish beliefs. Mother and father That milieu that they talking about. That environment. Mary and Joseph. That's the milieu they talking about. We don't get to the rabbinical, but we talking about the milieu. That environment. Mary and John. That milieu. That environment. Everywhere, everything around you, Jewish. In and everything around you, Jewish. Whether you go to the synagogue or not. That environment is Jewish. And so when you're talking about Christian, see, this is where it comes. This is where, if you don't know the Jewish beliefs, the principles of Judaism, see, that's what it means. See, a lot of things that the Catholic Church don't do, and a lot of things that the Catholic Church do, the Catholic Church do and don't do. That's the reason why. Because you got to refer back, just like when you be trying to prove to any and everybody about the Messiah, and you trying to prove to any and everybody that the historical Jesus is the Messiah. What do you always do? Get my King James Bible version of the Holy Bible. What do you do? Okay, Eric, what you always do? You go get your Holy Bible, and this is a King James version of the Holy. And what do you always do? You start going back to the Old Testament, to Elijah, Isaiah, Ezekiel. You start going to the Old Testament, the 5 books of Moses. You go to the book of Psalms, Proverbs. You ain't got to the New Testament yet, but you got to refer back to them 39 books in the Old Testament. And you're going to prove to any and everybody that the historical Jesus is the Messiah. And that's the same thing when you say Christian. Because our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, that historical Jesus that me and others believe in, not, that we believe is the Messiah. We believe that the Messiah has come. We believe that historical Jesus is the Messiah. And like I said again, what we do, we always refer to them 39 books in the back of Deuteronomy and the 5 books of Moses. First of all, the 5 books of Moses. Then we going back to Daniel, Joshua, the book of Judges, all them 39 books in we to prove that the historical Jesus is the Messiah. The historical Jesus did not say Christian. That's the reason why. That's the reason why. He didn't say, and he didn't say Catholic. But when you were talking about Catholic, his 12 apostles taught the church. One of the people that was taught by one or more than 12 apostles was St. Ignatius of Antioch. That's where he gets his credibility from. He was taught by one of the 12 chosen apostles of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Son, the historical Jesus. And said Catholic in one of his epistles. And to this day, and that's the reason why this day you hear Catholic all over the world. And if you think you're going to argue with the Catholic Church about saying Catholic, that's the reason why you see Catholic all over the world. You ain't finna argue with the Catholic Church about saying Catholic. You can bring up Christian if you want. And when the Catholic Church hear what you said, Christian, you should be a Catholic. I guarantee you, the bishop and the deacon, they're going to tell you, you should be a Catholic. And that's the reason why when I became an adult, I was raised in the Church of Christ. my mom and dad, me and my brother, we went to Church of Christ service pretty regularly. When I became an adult and I became a man, I started doing my own investigation research. There ain't nothing that I find credible about no Church of Christ. You can sit around talking about the first century church all you want. That don't mean nothing. And you can sit around and quote the same verse over and over again, talking about Jesus Christ said, I'm going to build my church. Upon this rock, I'm going to build my church. That don't mean nothing. Not what you try to make it mean. See, I'm familiar with this, what they call this, the Reformation movement, that restoration movement. I'm familiar with that. People, these Europeans came over from Europe and came to America and started all this mess over here. See, a lot of stuff, some stuff started in Europe, then other stuff started over here. But you ain't finna sit around and make me think that's right and the Catholic Church not right. No. You ain't finna be quoting those scriptures and then that's gonna prove that the Catholic Church is wrong, but the Church of Christ is right. It ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. See? And you ain't finna be walking around trying to influence me. See, when I make my video, I really would want a bishop or a deacon to see for that very reason. Because when you out in the community, that's what you see. You see people walking around. That's the reason why I do the things I do. Because there's people out here in the community trying to walk around trying to promote this Gnostic mess. Trying to go behind my back, went behind my mom and daddy back and all this nonsense. Man, look. I'm just going to have to, like I've been telling you, hey, time. Hey, you may have thought you had time to make a fool out of yourself as well as others. But when I'm doing what I'm doing and then the information, see, I already know at the University of Chicago, the Theology and Religious Studies class, the PhD, the University of Illinois, Chicago, and DePaul and Loyola, see, and all them other colleges and universities in the state of Illinois, as well as all around the world, college and universities all around the world. The Theology and Religious Studies Department. See, they teach, there's a class, Catholic class. The bishop and the deacon. See, you ain't saying nothing that's right. You can get a PhD and sit over there in the Baptist church if you want, but I can't, no. The bishop and deacon, just because you sitting over there with a PhD, man, and talking about you sitting up in the Baptist church, that don't make you smarter than the bishop and the deacon in the Catholic church. No. You don't know more than the bishop and the deacon in the Catholic church. But like I said, man, see, that's the reason why I do the things I do. Because, see, you trying to talk about this Gnostic mess, and see, when you talk about the beliefs in Judaism, it's inconsistent. It's inconsistent. And then talking about some Christians, it's still going to be the same thing. It's inconsistent. See, that nonsense you talking, that's some made up lies. You done pretty much, that's what you did. You distorted Plato's book. That's really what you done. You distorted Plato's book. And then you took information from the Holy Bible, just like it just said. You did Gnostic nonsense. Taking verses out of the Bible, just like when you click over into Gnosticism. They were taking verses out of the Bible. Okay. And so, I'm referring back to now. Let me read this again. I want you to hear what. See, this what all you doing is distorting information. It said many heads of Nazi schools were identified as Jewish Christian by the church fathers. And what else? And Hebrew words and names of God were applied in some Nazi schools. See what I'm talking about? See, you took Plato's book and now you taking Hebrew words and names of God and applying it in some Gnosticism. But you don't know the Jewish beliefs. And and another key point we want to make about this Gnosticism is something that when you talk about a person being a Jew or a Christian, see, this is the reason why it's important. When you identify the people as being a Jew or a Christian, now what's her name? Ethel S. Dry as heterodox Judaism. Heterodox Judaism in Galilee and Samaria appears to have taken shape in the form we now call Gnostic. And it may well have existed sometime before the Christian era. See, you got these, just like a heretic in Christianity, in Catholicism, in Judaism, you got some heretics running around. That's what the Gnostics. See, you can't make it sound like the rabbi, the scholars in Judaism, they gonna go over here and start this Gnostic myth. Just like this, most likely that's who it was. It was some heretics in the Jewish faith, and then later on the Christian, but it started with some heretics in Judaism. Probably some guns who really weren't that strong in the faith, probably didn't know how to read, write, do math, but go to the synagogue. Not all, but sometimes some of the uneducated people been misled themselves, and then when you try to teach them Judaism, they ain't really got no education, so they really don't understand. Because then, first of all, they ain't got no education. And then they get misled. Then they, become uninterested. What time? Yeah. And so a lot of times, this pretty much what Miss Dry was talking about, heterodox Judaism. But these are key points that we have to make. Is that this so-called Gnostic stuff is inconsistent with Judaism. It's important to know what the faith, to have an understanding of what the Jews believe, what Judaism, the principles of Judaism. It's important, as well as the Catholic Church, which is rooted in the Jewish faith. if you don't have a basis of your understanding of the Jewish belief system, the principle of Jew, you totally lost. That's the reason why you misled now. Because you don't have any understanding of Jewish principles, of Jewish belief. Just like we just got you talking about God, the God of Judaism. You totally out there in left field. Talking about the demiurge. And talking about this. And then what you took from Plato, you distorted it. You way out there in left field somewhere. You way out there in left field somewhere. And we just got you reading. That's the reason why it's important to know who the God of Judaism is. Because you sitting up here talking about this demiurge. That ain't Judaism. Talking about the demiurge flower, we just got you reading about the God in Judaism. You out there in left field somewhere. And you ain't finna tell the Catholic Church. That's the reason why the Catholic Church told you you're a heretic. That's the reason why. That's the very reason why the Catholic Church called you a heretic. Because that's not what the Catholic Church believes about Judaism. That's not what the Catholic Church believes about Judaism. Because we talking about the same God. The same information that we talking about the God of Judaism, that's the same God of the Catholic Church. Did you understand that? The same God that we just got through reading about, the God of Judaism, that's the same God of the Catholic Church. Same God. That Gnostic mess is totally inconsistent. Totally inconsistent. Nothing similar. You can take whatever word you want out of the Bible. That's totally inconsistent. You out there, man, you out there and left. You is totally wrong. You wrong. That's all there is to it. You wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. And I can say that. I'm sitting there looking. You don't know what you're talking about. All right, what time? All right. Look, I'm going to come back and make another video. But see, we got into the, and see, from this point on, see, this is going to be a constant thing. But we're going to come back and, let me click back over there. What? The name, the names of God. But, see, you got to see the reason why it's important, for me too. For me. That's the reason why it's important. Because see, when I walk out this door, people try to go around in the community, it's like you trying to, try to make me look like I'm stupid or something. No. And that's the same thing. Just see, the conservative white lords in Chicago, man, when I make my video, and when you see how inconsistent that Gnostic mess is with Judaism, and not only with Judaism, then from Judaism you come to the Catholic Church, and then of course Christianity, Christianity, but it's totally inconsistent. It ain't nothing similar about no Gnosticism and Judaism. Oh, that's the reason why. That's the reason why. When we were talking about how this Gnostic talking about, it's a, in Gnosticism they talking about this demiurge, not the supreme God, but that there's another. That ain't what Judaism teaches. We just got to reading the God of Judaism. It's sitting right here in front of us. No. And that in Gnosticism talking about this demiurge is flawed, and that the material world is flawed, and oh no. That ain't what Judaism teaches. That's totally heterodox. Judaism. That's what heterodox Judaism means. You talking about something totally way different. See, if you don't know what the Jews believe, hey, best get somewhere and sit down, man. Get somewhere and sit down. And you're talking about what the Catholic Church is rooted in Jewish belief. So, hey, this just for example, when you say Yahweh, now let me say, now you know doggone well the Catholic Church is fully aware of this tetragrammaton and about Yahweh. The Catholic Church is fully aware of that. That's a belief. That's a belief in Judaism. The Catholic Church ain't never said that the Jews were wrong about anything like that. See, make this clear. See, the belief that in the Messiah ain't about trying to correct Judaism and trying to say that Judaism was totally wrong. The belief in the Messiah is that it's a fulfillment of the prophecy that the God of Judaism made, that the Messiah would come. The Messiah coming was not a condemnation of the things that God had done. It was a fulfillment of the prophecy. When God said, I'm going to do something, God did what he said he's going to do. That's what the Messiah means. So when you talk about the Catholic Church, for example, and the belief in the Messiah, what the Jews believe about that tetragrammaton is the same thing that the Catholic Church going to tell you. They understand the reason why the Jews won't say it. And when you write it, they understand when you say Adonai. They didn't say that just because the Messiah, that was wrong. That's the point I wanted to make. The Catholic Church ain't finna tell the Jews just because, who don't believe that historical Jesus was the belief. But what the Catholic Church gonna say is this. They never said that Judaism was wrong. What Jesus Christ said is some of the people that were referred to as a Jew were doing something wrong. But what God had done, that wasn't wrong. That what the difference is. See, Jesus never said that God was wrong for giving the 5 books of Moses to the Israelites. God didn't never say that. After God had gave the 5 books of Moses, God had to turn around and punish the Israelites. Not just one time. Even after God gave the 5 books of Moses to the Israelites, he had to turn around and punish them. While Moses was up on the mountain, what happened? Come on now, what happened? While Moses was up there, God was giving Moses the 10 Commandments. What happened? What did the Jews, after God had delivered the Jews out of bondage, and Moses was in the mountain, God was giving Moses the 10 Commandments. What happened? The Israelites failed. They committed sin and had to be punished. But God still loved Israel. He had to punish Israel. But God made a covenant with Abraham. And God held to his covenant. See, this is the reason why it's totally wrong. This Nazi stuff is wrong. Just like we just got to read, talking about you taking names of God and taking verses out of the Bible. See, all that's wrong. It's wrong. That's the reason why it's wrong. Because the belief in the historical Jesus and that the Catholic Church. See, the bishop and deacon, they understand what you mean. The historical Jesus that myself is what others believe in. It's not a belief that when the Messiah came, it was to condemn Israel. That's not what that means. That ain't what it means. When God said that there was Messiah would come, he told you what he meant. That ain't what it meant. He didn't say he did something wrong. and they wanted to undo and wanted to change, God didn't say that. See, this is the reason why when the Catholic Church see the Jews talking about that, I'm just making an example. See, they're inconsistent with Gnosticism. And you take Yahweh. The Jews believe you don't even say that. You don't even say it. See, that's a belief in Judaism. You don't even say it. But Gnostics, the Gnostics, the Jews, talking about some Jews and Christians, it's a possibility they may have lived in that environment, but they might not even knew they might not have been well learned in the faith themselves. But you may have been growing up in the, might have been an orphan, might have been an orphan somewhere, and was raised in an environment. But let's just be realistic. We're not talking about no ideal. Let's be clear. We're not talking about no idealistic environment. Because think about it, read the Old Testament. Do it look like an ideal environment? Look at where the Israelites came from slavery. Even before that, even before the children of Israel slaves, the 12 sons of Jacob. Do that look like an ideal environment? Look at Abraham, him and Sarah, and what happened? Hagar, Ishmael. What happened to Ishmael? The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob / Israel. Do that look like it's just an idyllic environment? No, they ain't ideal. Like it's some perfect. Man, this ain't no perfect environment. People commit murder. What did Moses? Moses committed. Okay, we're not talking about no perfect society. This environment is a human environment. We talking about women. Hey, think about children being born out of wedlock and all this. Women not even being married. Men not married, some men married, some men and women married, may not been married, whatever. Children, abandoned children, all this. This is the type of environment we're talking about. And you talking about somebody being Jewish. Now you got people that's educated, but what if somebody wasn't educated, but they were born in that environment, born and raised in the environment? Like they had fun, like they got schools today. That's what we had to put our sometimes we had to put our mind in this environment in Samaria and Galilee. It's not no ideal environment. People drinking alcohol, the wine, getting drunk, and get drunk all day, all night. Don't do nothing but drink all day and night. Alcoholic. This ain't no ideal environment. Now, of course, you got some people that was in the faith, the priest and all that. But let's not make it sound like it's an ideal, like this environment is an ideal. No. That's where a lot of this heterodox possibly came from. Everybody want formally, educated and all this. And then you expect like the rabbi gonna actually have school. Time. Yeah, but we got on what I really wanted to get on, and cause see that's continue to lay the foundation. That Gnostic nonsense is totally inconsistent. Nothing similar about Gnosticism and Judaism and Catholicism. Totally inconsistent. Nothing about Gnosticism is right. Nothing. You can't take verses out the Holy Bible and give your No, that don't work, man. No, that don't work. So what them Nazi theologians tried to do, and talking about some Nazi theologian literature, hey, that Bruce Codex, that Askew Codex, that Berlin Codex, that Gnostic theologian, right, that had been discovered before the Nag Hammadi Library. And then that Nag Hammadi Library that was discovered in 1945, all that stuff is Gnostic. That's what I'm doing that for. All that Gnostic theologian literature don't mean nothing. That's the reason why. You don't know what you're talking about. That's the reason why. You don't know nothing about Jewish faith. You don't know nothing about the Jewish belief. You just some nut walking around on the street, got misled by the sorority and the fraternity. That's what the situation is in the community, is that the sorority and fraternity, the sohos and the fat bitches, going around in the community, misleading themselves and others. Lying. Because that's what you're doing, lying. Man, conservative body Lord ain't got to worry about you. You ain't nothing to be worried about. The Prince Hall Freemason, that was the Divine Nine, the Prince Hall Freemason. Man, you ain't got to worry about you. You ain't nobody to be worried about. You ain't nobody to be afraid of. You ain't nobody to be scared of. You can go around on the campus talking about you going to lift weights, and you can go take mixed martial arts and all that, and you get you a gun, whatever. You know? It ain't going to change nothing. You ain't nobody to be afraid of. You ain't nobody to be scared of. The certified Lord ain't got to lose no sleep at night about no sohos and fat bitches. Lord Stone disciple. That's what it means. You can't stand on no lie. And see, like, hey, don't make it sound like you gonna make it sound like, oh, that's wrong. Oh man, go on, get up out of here, man. And you going on somewhere, man. Because hey, King David Bosdale and Chief Malik and Edwin Pepperlo Perry, no. They were little kids, man. And see, the behavior science class, I'm already here. I'm sitting here telling you, hey, you ain't finna get nowhere trying to talk about what right and wrong is. You ain't finna get nowhere with talking about no right and wrong. No, you ain't finna get nowhere with talking about no right and wrong. And man, Chief Malik was a little kid, and Edwin Pepperlo Perry got in trouble, little kid in reform school. Some little children. King David Bosdale, some little kid in the neighborhood. Gonna start them a gang. And then they gonna get the word devil about, yeah, we're gonna make our gang we're gonna intimidate. We're gonna take the word devil out the Bible. Man, some little kids. And you talking about right and wrong. Oh, that ain't right. Like I said, that Nazi nonsense, that you know what I'm saying? That reason why Lord Stone disciple. Hey, time. That's all it's about, man. Cause see, when I make my video and I do the things I do, hey, you ain't saying nothing. So that gangster disciple, you ain't never been right. Talking about some supreme gangsters? No, you ain't never been trying to use the name, no, or anything else. Anything, no. You talking about the black gangsters? I know about the black gangsters and the vice lords. I know about the robbery at the bar. You know, if you want to go there, we can go there, man. We can go. Matter of fact, we can get a YouTube video. If you got to get technical, if you want to get thorough, if we got to go to the library on Poplar Avenue and look up black gangsters and look up all the vice lords who had got out of prison no, we got to look up Cochise and and Spoony Black, If that's what you want to do, man, then you want to talk about the so-called new breeds and all this. Talking about the new breeds on the street and the black gangsters in the jail. I already know all about that. Hey, trying to use that name in my library, as you can see, narcissism don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. You just making a fool out yourself. You ain't doing nothing being self-destructive and destructive. And all this trying to have anal sex. I mean, that's what it gonna mean. That's all it, stupid people try to make up an excuse to be in a gang, to be gangsters in the past. We as black/African American denied education, so you ain't know what you was talking about in the first place. So you got all these white people walking around. They had already knew about the Bruce Codex, the Askew Codex, and the Berlin Codex. They tried to use that themselves. And then us, black/African American, we ain't had no education. And then when you get education, only thing you doing is trying to be a gangster. But during that period of time, the early 1900s, it wasn't no, the dirty sheets in the well, and she was 8. So, I mean, don't try to put yourself in a position where you think you can still talk to people and try to make yourself sound like you make sense, because you don't. You ain't saying nothing nobody got paying attention to. It's just like that everybody killer. See, this is the reason why the conservative vice lord ain't got to worry about it. See, you ain't making no sense, and you ain't gonna never be right. You ain't gonna never be right about nothing. See, this is what it's about. Time. You thought, now I mean, you thought you had time. I was watching you the whole time. See, when I make my video, a lot of times I do things, sometimes I see things, and then I make my video. That's the reason why I do the things I do. Because see, you be thinking you got time. And you think you going to go around and use the nag of my library to lie to yourself as well as others. It's just like out there in California, out there in Los Angeles, California. See, that Crip gang that in them other bloods, because see, we already know about the Black P. Stone bloods. Came from Chicago. T. Rogers came from Chicago. Now, all this about moving around, all this, just like, for example, Sam Cooke and the Soul Stirrer. People moving around. There's other people probably can't, but trying to do something like that, going behind other people's backs and all this. Sam Cooke and his wife, Miss Barbara Campbell Cook, got married and left Chicago and moved to Los Angeles, California. Lou Rawls left Chicago, moved to Los Angeles, California. See, this is what the Lord Stone disciples already know about these people that's moving around and moving from one place to another. And then all this stuff about the avenues and all that, and who started all this, and who did this, and who did that. See? But see, it was all this nag of my library. See, when people try to tell you what was right, you ain't want to listen. You ain't want to listen. Oh, he don't know what he talking about. Oh, she don't know it. Man, don't listen to that hoe. No, man, don't listen to that nigga, man. See, that's what you was hearing. See? That's the reason why I investigate and do research. The same thing that the scholars do. Do investigation, do research. It was the church fathers who already identified who the Gnostics were, and even today. Who are the Gnostics today? Well, they showed you. The modern Gnostics. Still rooted in all that lies that they were telling back then. You ain't talking about nothing. You ain't doing but lying. You ain't talking about nothing. You just lying. Yeah. Couple more minutes, I'm going to end my video. I ain't going past 2 o'clock. But still, though, I wanted to make my video. But see, this is important. See, this is the reason why it's important. Because when I'm out there in the community, and when you thought you got away, and you thought you got away from going behind my back, talking about people on the East Coast, trying to leave the East Coast and trying to live around the city of Memphis and Shelby County and other places in the state of Tennessee with the Nagamon Library. Man, the Nagamon Library ain't no reason for you to do anything. Ain't no reason for you to do anything. It's the same thing with Lower Stone to Sight. The Nagamon Library ain't no reason for anybody to do anything. Ain't no reason. Gnosticism ain't no reason for you to do anything. And it's the same thing that nonsense out there in Los Angeles, California. That Crip gang and then all them other bloods. The Piru Bloods and the Bloodstone villains and all that. Hey, you can say whatever you want. But that Gnosticism ain't no reason for you to be walking around running off at the mouth. You ain't got no business recruiting nobody. That's the honest truth. You ain't got no business recruiting any person to be no Crip, or to be no blood, or whatever, or anything else. That's the honest truth. Because you ain't doing them a lie. But, hey, it's time. That's all it is. Time. There ain't no reason. See, conservative white lord ain't got to worry about none of them. You ain't got to worry about no Crip gang. You ain't got to worry about none of them other blood. Black Prieststone blood. When I leave my video, I guarantee you, the Black Prieststone blood, they know. When I leave my video, it'll be some, watch my video, and they'll get the message loud and clear. Irregardless, you're going to get the message loud and clear. You got time. You got time. That Nagamon, Gnosticism ain't no reason. Ain't no reason for anything. None. There ain't no reason for no Crip gang. There ain't no reason for no Piru blood. Ain't no reason for no Brim. Ain't no reason for no bounty hunter blood or anything else. It ain't no reason. But time. You say whatever you want. You ain't nobody to be afraid of. You ain't nobody to be scared of. You can say whatever you want, but I guarantee you mess around and but I'm glad we had it. When I made my video today, the God and Julian, because see, I gain my own. I get myself in my mind. I already know there ain't no reason. Because see, when you practicing Judaism, the beliefs in Judaism, what you doing going around talking about taking Plato's book for? What you know about philosophy? What you go take Plato's book and then take the word demiurge and distort everything about philosophy, about book the Timaeus or Timaeus. That's the reason why one of the students, again, but that's the reason why. And that's who Plotinus was talking about. He was talking about the Gnostics, because that's the title of his book, Against the Gnostics. What part of that you don't understand? What part of that you having a problem with understanding? That's the reason why Plotinus wrote his book against the Gnostics. The title of his book is In Need or In Need. That's the reason why he wrote his book. Because what you're doing is wrong. It's wrong. What part of that you don't understand? That's the reason why Plotinus wrote his book against the title of his book, Against the Gnostics. Yeah, the title of Plotinus' book, Against the Gnostics, or against those that affirm the creator of the cosmos and the cosmos itself to be evil. That's the reason why Plotinus wrote his book. Because it was wrong to take Plato's book and distort the information in Plato's book titled Timaeus, or the pronunciation Timaeus or Timaeus. Because it was wrong. And that's the thing that you need to pay attention to, that it was wrong to Plotinus. And if it was wrong to Plotinus, it was wrong to others, like Plotinus, to take Plato's book and distort the information. And if I ain't mistaken, Plotinus believed in Jesus Christ. He was one of those around the 3rd century. Well, a lot of people in Christianity in that during that period, like fourth, third, fourth, fifth century and beyond, they took a lot of things from Plotinus and learned a lot from Plotinus, his philosophy, the philosopher Plotinus. So that's a reason. But they took that. Plotinus took it, and others they didn't take it like you think they took. See, Plotinus was not uneducated. He was an educated, and what the Gnostics tried to do, he didn't tolerate it. He was trying to tell you he was against the Gnostics and what they had done, taking Plato's book and distorting Plato's book. That's what a lot of people should be telling you, stupid people walking around. That people don't always agree with what you're talking about, especially a lot of educated people who know. Because a lot of you people that's walking around out here on the streets of Memphis and Shelby County and state of Tennessee, as well as in other, like up there in Chicago, you don't know what you're talking about. You're not educated like Plotinus. Plotinus wrote a book against the Gnostics. See, while you walking around and talking about what some theologian, what some Gnostic theologian wrote, like the Bruce Codex, the Askew Codex, the Berlin Codex, the Nag Hammadi Library, while you sitting around talking about that, Plotinus wrote a book against the Gnostics. And what's the title of that book? Oh, okay. But like I said, that was the talking about that demiurge. And like I said, Plotinus wrote that book and wrote his book against the Gnostics. You know. And like I said, Plotinus wrote his book, and again the title of his book, Against the Gnostics, or against those that affirm the creator of the cosmos and the cosmos itself to be evil. Against the Gnostics and against those that affirm the creator of the cosmos and the cosmos itself to be evil. And see, getting straight to the point. You can just hear it in the title of the book, talking about that demiurge and how the demiurge is evil and how the material world is evil and all that. So Plotinus wrote his book, he just got straight to the point. Against the Gnostics and against those that affirm that the creator of the cosmos and the cosmos itself to be evil. Straight to the point. Straight to the point. Didn't leave nothing out. Just in the title itself. Got straight to the point. So for all you people that's walking around talking about some, hey, Plotinus got straight to the point. Got straight to the point. Against the Gnostics. And against those that affirm that the creator of the cosmos and the cosmos itself to be evil. Because you tried to say that the creator was evil and that the material world was evil, all that. Oh, man, you just be lying. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. But look here, what time is it? I'm going to go ahead and end today's video, but we're going to come back on the names of God. We got into the God of Judaism. And we're going to go into the names of God, and we're going to just continue. Then we're going to come back and review. You know, got to have a review on this information, because this information is something that you just don't, you know, because that's some serious information. Judaism and Catholicism, you know, the Catholic Church. I don't really, you know, you have to watch that ism on the end. You know, Catholic, and when you say Catholicism, see, you got all this schism and all this kind of stuff. When you talking about Catholicism, you talking about the Roman Catholic Church. But the other Catholics, like the Eastern Orthodox, and then you got the Oriental Orthodox, that's not Catholicism. So, you know, I'm going to get ready to end today's video. And thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Son of God, for all the blessings and guidance provided me, as well as all of us with. And there's been a lot of natural disasters, things being reported on the news. A lot of natural, you know, a lot of things don't get reported like on news, but then it get reported in other, you know, pray for, you know, those natural disasters. And, you know, it's a lot of wars being fought all over the world, not just the war in Ukraine, not just the war in Israel, you know, the war in Gaza or whatever. But there are other wars being fought all over the world. And, you know, we just hope and pray that there can be peace for any and everybody. And just going to continue to pray. But Gonna come back on my next video. Like I said, we're gonna continue on this information. We're gonna go into the names of God. You know, if you gotta go to the library, to the main library, like I have a main library here in the city of Memphis, Shelby County, state of Tennessee. All this information is at the main library. It's at the main library. Anytime you go online, the encyclopedia, the dictionary, the information that's in the dictionary, the information that's in the encyclopedia, the same information on Wikipedia. It's the same exact information. Might have been a word wrote different by a different writer, but the information gonna still be the same. And we can go to the library. It's gonna be the same. All books, all kind of books on Judaism, all kind of books on the Catholic Church, all kind of books on the Protestants and all that. All kind of books on the Church of Christ and all. It's books. It's all kind of books on the names of God. All kind of books. So if you want to bring up something, bring it up. We can go to the library. That's all you know. So until next time, you take care of yourself. Wish each and every one of you the very best.